When examining the biopsychosocial factors or events and applying multi-system lens to examine how family, community, institutions, and/or larger social policy and social forces help or hinder the interviewee's life aspirations or opportunities, a few things that I discussed with the interviewee was she was very popular and was embraced by her classmates. So that was more of a help to her aspirations and opportunities. It kind of built up her confidence, allowed her to be a bold person in spite of her home situation. She held several positions and was very active. Once again, a lot of this can be brought on by her maybe trying to find that acceptance that she didn't receive at home in other environments and other relationships, establishing intimacy with other people outside of her family. Um, it says mother and stepfather encouraged being active, although they did not support. So they wanted to establish a form of activity. However, they did not support her or encourage her along the way when she did finally figure out what it is that she wanted to participate in. Family and others in intimate relationships underestimated her. She stated that she felt that her mother didn't take her seriously, and a lot of people underestimated her. Um, she worked really hard to establish things for herself, and in a way could have tried to prove her mother and stepfather wrong. Her home environment pushed her to being more independent. In this case, where she had a lot of lack at home, it didn't discourage her from moving forward to goals and achieving life's aspirations or opportunities. It kind of pushed her forward to achieve those things. And a lot of times we don't see that where there's a negative environment in the household. You don't usually see people still striving for their goals. So this is one of the rare cases where her home environment didn't break her, but it made her become the person she is today. My second theory that I selected was ecological theory, which was originally developed by psychologist Yuri Bronfenbrenner, which explains human development by describing aspects of the individual, the environment, and the interaction between the two. Although the interviewee was distant with her stepfather and siblings, she found a way to find that closeness with others by being active in the community and trying to establish those relationships with others. So where she didn't um, actually get to see what it looked like to have that closeness and intimacy at her home, she did find it in other places. She is and always has been more forgiving with family because she is continuously striving to build that relationship with them, even in her late age. She's making several attempts with her siblings where the mother her mother and her stepfather's dynamic in the home has affected the relationship she has with her siblings. So she's always trying to get them as close as possible to she's always willing to have that relationship that she lacked in the young adulthood stage. She allowed her environment to motivate her to do better. As I discussed earlier, she was always self-motivated. She made her negative positive and buried the negative effects that her past had on her. The theory limitations, I'm going to focus on Erikson's theory, where it says societal norms and expectations about the developmental processes that should occur at various ages are always changing. I looked at the aspect with the employee where she was able to experience the world, marry, and have her first child at 30 and her second and last child at 37. This was not aligned with the societal norm and expectation in that place, in place at that time. At that time, even her mother married very early, had two children by the time she met her her stepfather, and then had three more children. So for her to wait and have children at 30 and 37, it was definitely outside of the norm. Also here I have, if an individual does not experience intimacy in the younger adulthood stage, it may be impossible to establish that as the individual gets older, which can lead to isolation. With the interviewee, she never quite experienced intimacy on the level she needed. And even when she does get close, even in old age, she tends to isolate herself. So it's a default space that she tends to go to in every relationship that she establishes. And here are my references. Hopefully you all enjoyed the presentation or learned something from it. And I did enjoy interviewing. Of course, my interviewee was very insightful, and I definitely will remember this. And I've learned a lot about her just based off of her past. Thank you.